Want to make your own podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easy, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I discovered this, I've been recording from my phone using my AirPods, and I feel like having these options, along with in-app editing, make it a lot easier to take my podcast to the next level. What are you waiting for? I highly recommend it. Download Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Welcome to Untold Physio Stories podcast, your perfect commute resource with physio failures, successes, interesting cases, and more from the physio and rehab world, with your hosts, Drs. Andrew Rothschild and Urson Religioso.
I love the background. I just pulled up the background.
Oh, thanks.
Love it.
People don't.
So good.
When people don't recognize it, I'm like, come on, man. It was like only the biggest movie in like the last 10, 15 years.
Well, funny story. I mean, you can hit record a number, but like because I do sketches, right, for video for gross anatomy. And so
yeah.
I have people hate me and my friends make fun of me and they don't like me because I like Top Gun and Tom Cruise movies. And so, you know, there's actually we're in.
Who didn't like the last Top Gun? I mean, I can understand why you didn't like the first Top Gun, but the last Top Gun was like better than any. It was so way better than it had, and it was like as if they put all the quality of the Mission Impossible movies into a Top Gun movie.
Yeah, and anyways, I like the whole movie. All in all, it was exciting. Yeah. Even the storyline, like it was good. They did a good job. And then so there's actually I came up with an idea for a sketch of Top Gun. So you have to have like a wingman woman, but it was my buddy who's also a DP, and it was supposed to be that some type of like hand form restriction causing not to be able to hit the missile button or the trigger. And I had to talk down my wingman to be like, just massage it, foam roll it on the console and loosen up, and then finally, and then we shoot it, and that's it. But the technological production part was the background. So like what you're doing right now, you could actually make that pretty decent with good lighting. And then it's the idea is either we take like the footage from the actual movie and you do VFX to kind of cut out the person and then put our people on it, or you can go into Unreal Engine, which is a gaming engine, and just have.
I know what Unreal Engine is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly. So you put yourself in the cockpit, and then you just kind of do a green screen in the game engine in real time. So it's just like all these decisions. Like, well, what does it look like? Should we make it goofier? And I actually have like toy planes. I have it. They're on my counter on my dresser, like this big. And I was going to fly them around with a string, like make it really cheesy and just fly them around and stuff like that. So anyways, so I'm a huge fan, and that's been something. But the problem with that is it's expensive because the helmet's $70. We only need one Maverick helmet, and then the jumpsuit is about $30. So we have to both fit into it so that we don't have to buy two of them, and it's like a $200 outfit type of thing. So
it's a lot for just a what-off, right?
Yeah, a 2-minute sketch it's a lot. So I'm always like kind of figuring maybe a jumpsuit will pop into my life, or go to the thrift store, they'll have it. Maybe the helmet will like I'll just borrow it. But I love the background. So
yeah. Well, then do you also think that oh gosh, what was it called? It's not it was like rebranded Live Die Repeat, but it's the movie, it's like Groundhog Day, but it's sci-fi, and he keeps on dying and Emily Blunt is like the female protagonist. Don't you think it's like one of the best sci-fi movies ever?
What's the name of it? I saw it. I don't know which one it was. Yes, it's a very good one. Was it Liam or his brother Hemsworth? One of the Hemsworths?
No. It's Tom Cruise. No? It's Tom Cruise.
Oh, Day After Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow. Yes. Yeah. No.
Tomorrow. Yeah. Day After Tomorrow.
It's
No.
something like that.
Mm,
but he keeps on, he gets alien blood spilled on him, and he keeps on getting killed because he starts off like this
mhm.
incompetent version of Tom Cruise, and then Emily Blunt,
Edge of
basic
Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Emily
Live, die,
Blunt
repeat.
basically
Yeah.
trains him
Hmm.
every time he dies to be more and more competent, so that like,
Correct.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
so good.
And I think that was like an underrated movie, I
Oh yeah,
believe. And
it
and
was so
that
underrated.
was
Like, how many of
where,
Tom Cruise's movies get renamed for the home version just to try to get people to watch it?
yeah. And apparently those suits, and this is where like I kind of get passionate about like what we do for a living. And sometimes I'm like, what's my purpose as a physical therapist and this creator and this technologist? But like the suits were 80 pounds. And so when you watch the footage, they're running. I mean, those are actual suits. And then you have Tom Cruise, who's 5'7" or something, 5'6". And yeah,
Yeah,
he's
something
strong,
like
he's
it. No one
athletic.
exactly knows how short he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's short. He's a small person. So,
Yeah.
like, to train your body, Emily Blunt too. Like, she apparently was in tears at some point because it was so hard. Like, how do you train your body so well so that you get beat up a little bit, but you can perform really well. You can sustain an injury, a minor injury, and you don't really get like an injury that makes you shut down the set for like a week or two or something like that. So those are things I always think about, like, when they shot like the web series, the intro, or running like the Mission Impossible sketches. Like, I was running like 10 times and up in stairs and making it look goofy. But so those are fascinating things. Like, how do you train your body to make sure you can do this on camera really well?
Yeah.
And you don't get injured. And if you do get injured, it's a minor kind of like, oh, I'll heal in like 48
Right.
hours or a week, something like that.
Well, apparently also, I mean, if you ever seen I remember wifey always used to make jokes about like, oh, here's Tom Cruise running in another scene. And it's always like
Hmm.
the most efficient running gait, because she's a PT too. And I'm like, then I saw someone actually they
Hmm.
analyzed his video and just like how fast he can run. And
Hmm.
it even is like he's in his 50s now, and apparently he's still a very, very fast
60.
runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's actually compilations of just Tom Cruise running, and it's
Right. Yeah, I know.
hilarious. And he
Right.
does it like on purpose on movies, but
Right. Yeah.
they,
Yeah,
they,
he
they
runs like
do.
like a Terminator 2, right? With open hand.
Yeah.
That's how I run.
Yeah.
Open
Yeah.
hand.
But he's
Yeah.
like, he told one of the guys who plays Benji, the British guy, he's like, oh, just pump your arms. Make it. That's what you do. You pump your arms. And it's kind of true. That's, you
It
look at a
is true, yeah.
sprinter. But
People don't understand that it is a lot from the arms.
yeah. And it's kind of like the principle of, Bruce Lee, right? So Bruce Lee, there's combat on, actual combat, and then there's actually like for film, and it's different. It's a little bit, but he was able to keep the martial arts and make it sensationalized, but you can see the full kick, right? So you can see the full punch. And so Tom Cruise kind of did that for running, something so like mundane as running. And they actually go back to when in his early days, he was running even like his drama movies, like The Firm or something like that, or
Right, I know.
Risky. But he's like just running upstairs, like it's
Always
just like
running,
the
yeah.
evolution of his running.
Right, right. Wow. Now I'm thinking we can do the PT movie geek podcast or something.
Let's do
something
that.
like
Listen, I realize like my Superman is on the wall. You have the Top Gun. I'm drinking a Superman mug. You're a gamer, and you like I guess you like films and games.
I do, yes, an anime. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally fine with that because that's something that
That
my
would be
buddy.
too niche. We'd be the only ones who watch that.
I don't know. Well, that's the thing. Is like sometimes you do something niche, and then more people are more interested. Because, for example, my buddy is an actor. He's a trainer I met at my gym. We became friends, and he's an actor, but he's also become a personal trainer over the past 3 years. And he did we did a Hamlet sketch where we did like sword fighting, we're moving, right? And then he ended up, as a result of that, he ended up doing a short film. He has a twin brother doing like running and fight scenes. And I told him, I was like, you got to train running. You got to train repetition. He went on set. He did it. He's like, the next day, he's like, I was so sore. It was only like a 2-day shoot, right? It was a short film, but it was like a drama. And I was like, now and so they make fun of me that I run. I like cardio. They're like, oh, you don't do cardio. You have to be strong. I'm like, I do both. Like, I have to run for a reason. So then when he came back, he was like,
one rule of Zombieland.
Run, right? So then
cardio.
And so I think he realized like, oh, the training that you do, my training is so that when I do something, I can jump 100 times. I can run, for, I don't know, 30 seconds at a time over and over and over and over again. I don't get injured, or in flexibility, I have to move or I fall or something like that. So there's actually like, I don't think they teach you maybe how to fall correctly, which is correct, but then they don't teach you how you need certain amounts of strength and mobilization and coordination to make sure that you can fall over and over again and get minimal injuries,
Right.
And Then there's the crazy Jackie Chan stuntman, but that's a whole,
That's
it's
a
a
whole
different
nother
beast in
thing.
itself, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
but yeah,
I never
there's
actually
things
thought
that
about that, about like I mean, because just involved in any kind of production, or even just like shooting my own content, especially if I'm doing someone else's read and not like coming out of my head,
Mhm,
you got to redo it like 20, 30 times.
mhm,
And I
yeah,
never thought about that for like an action scene. That would be exhausting.
mhm.
And it would really ramp up the potential for injury.
Oh yeah, like I ran down so the Mission Impossible sketch one, no two. So in two, I have to do a burpee with my duct taped hands, a burpee, standing, do a spin move, and then run. I don't know, that's like 20 feet. It was like a basement of a church, so 20 feet and up the stairs. And so I did the burpee again, like this, a burpee like that, so standing, and try to make it look okay, right? So land on
Right.
2 feet, pause, look around, spin, and I mean, that was in a suit. So you kind of, I knew that going into that we were planning this. And so like there was things that I was doing to make sure that I could get that. I was doing hamstring stretches so I can make sure I can get into that kind of like downward dog position easily. And then, yeah, just a lot of push-ups, a lot of push-ups, clapping push-ups, plyometric push-ups. For about 2-3 weeks prior to that. For the Hamlet, I was doing weighted maces. So I was just kind of doing kind of like Eskrima or like kind of just blocks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and just over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's kind of like you have this plan, and then or you have this production and the skill set, and then also this fitness level, and then you have to match that with the prehab or the fitness, right? So there's prehab and there's fitness, right? And if you have an existing injury, there's also like, oh, you have to be careful with that as well. Well, how do you kind of like protect the area around it? Do you have to put a brace on? Do you have to put a knee pad on? Do you have to do something like this or tape yourself up or, use a glove or something? So those are the other factors. But a lot of people think that when they see the final edit, oh, you did like 2 or 3 times. No, you do it like, several times. Actually, just funny. I was walking in the park here in Manhattan. And in a park in my neighborhood, there's a ton of stairs, like stone stairs, maybe like 4 flights, right? Goes straight up. So guess what movie that came out last year or earlier this year with Keanu Reeves that replicates.
Oh man, is that where those stairs are?
Yeah. So
oh gosh, that's the worst scene too. Like he makes it all the way up the seat, and then he like some poor stuff. That stuntman I feel like is dead. Or it's
I know, yeah.
Like ragdoll. This is like the worst ragdoll I've seen real life. Someone falling down concrete stairs like over and over and over.
Yeah. So you're watching this as a clinician and you're like, oh, you're entertained, but then have to use like elbow, shoulder, this. Okay, that's so much fun. Oh wait, So like in my head, I'm thinking, how do I protect myself from getting injured in something like that? And then it's also, forget that, the fall, running up the stairs, having a fight at the landing, running up more stairs, having a final landing, and how continuous the shot is, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to cut too much because it takes away from the actual entertainment factor. And so I took the video and sent it to my buddy. His name was Ryan, and I was like, take a wild guess. And he's like, oh, the most exhausting fight scene in modern action movies. No, he's like John Wick 4. I was like, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm already planning on being in a suit, running up those stairs in dress shoes, and how do I make sure that I can do that? Maybe 2 flights, to be honest, and get up there and still feel and look like I'm still engaged in the scene, right? Because you can go up there and be like, you're like exhausted, right? And you can tell for the camera, and you do the best you can, but there's some things that you really can't hide, after a while. So I already I have the video on my phone. I'll send it to you so you see. Oh, okay. And there's stone steps, right? So there's always safety, but it's for my stuff. I get excited by that's the problem solving aspect. Like, oh, how do I protect myself and other people from this? And then also, can we do this? Is it feasible to do? It's fun. It's exciting. I like being active and doing these things. So
awesome. Well, wow. I mean, I'm just going to make this our podcast. I'll try to cobble this together somehow. I need to come up with some kind of intro. We can tell another story some other time, but this is much more entertaining. Things you don't think about when you watch a good action scene from a PT perspective.
And there's PTs out there, right? So they're not really out in public in the forefront of social media necessarily, and so sometimes it's nice to know, hey, there's these options as a clinician, right? So it's not just being in the clinic or being with a dance company or on Broadway, but there's so many other options to be a clinician.
Yeah, yeah.
Or doing your own stuff.
I've met a good amount of PTs that work with shows. They're working with like productions and everything, or Cirque du Soleil. I've met a couple PTs, athletic trainers, and they're always they also have interesting stories. But I never really thought about it, especially for Hollywood action movies, or any kind of Hollywood production. Really, I mean, they've got to always be injured.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like live action shows, like live shows, like theater productions or live shows. That's a beast in itself. But when you go into film, right? So it's a little bit different. It's similar. It's just you have a little more preparation to do it, and then you kind of can do it over, and you can kind of like do patchwork sometimes. But I'm always of the mindset of the best is to just be super prepared. Like reduce doesn't matter, even my camera, right? My camera, I have a backup, which is called my phone. I make sure I clear enough space off of it. If there's a camera, the audio, either shotgun mic or a mic lavalier, or I make sure that I'm ready for my phone to use it as a microphone, right? So it's like giving a presentation in the past, I used to have a flash drive, email it to myself, email me the PowerPoint and the PDF, and then I would Google Drive it to myself, and I would email it to somebody else as well. So I was always like prepared, and I have like 3 dongles.
Prepared, yeah.
So I've always been over prepared almost, and then physically it's also been the same. I'm not sure if I told you this, but I'm a swing dancer, and I started performing this year, and I'm starting to compete. Similar thing. It's like, well, what do I do? What kind of training do I have to do to make sure that before my stamina gives up and my body starts to break, make sure my stamina stays up, my cardio endurance stays up, but also the strength. So when I flip my partner, it looks good, right? So it doesn't look like I'm like laboring, like a PR. Power clean. It looks like a smooth, like, oh, done this like all day long.
It does look effortless. It does look effortless.
As it makes it look effortless, takes its own like training in itself. So those are things I like to think about, and I find it really fun whenever I'm shooting something or filming something. And I remember doing the episode 1 of the episode 1 of the web series, and we're doing the Bruce Lee sketch, and my friend, she had to punch me. She had to kind of give me like an uppercut to the stomach. And she wasn't, she didn't want. I think she didn't. In retrospect, I think she didn't want to hurt herself as well. Like, when you punch something, you can be careful of hurting your wrist, right? And so when she did it, she wasn't really like connecting at all. Like it was like I had to like really. I was like, just hit me. And then she did it. It didn't hit me. It's like, please hit me. And I kind of got like a little bit like, hit me. And then she finally made contact, and it kind of felt good. So there was like something about like, please like make connection, so I don't have to act so much. It's actually like. It shows, but yeah. So the point is like, preparing for all that stuff in advance and being ready for that is such an important thing. And sometimes people are, they're not ready, so you have to kind of like play around with it and make sure that they feel comfortable when you're working with other people. But yeah, for me, planning and preparation is such a crucial part still.
Yeah, planning and preparation with Adrian Miranda.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. For entertainment purposes.
Yes, for sure.
And life.
From a PT perspective. Yeah. And life. You got to be prepared. All right. Well, thanks for coming back on the podcast. I mean, this is not, I'm glad I hit record when I did. I'll have to come up with some kind of intro, but where can people find you, Adrian?
It's like, you can just be like, yeah, this is the miscellaneous topic.
Yeah. It's still quite a story.
Yeah, no, you can find me on, I have my own website, adrianmiranda.com. You see most of them, samples of my work, finished work, not everything. I post most of my work in progress on LinkedIn. So linkedin.com/in/AdrianMPT, or Adrian Miranda PT is me on LinkedIn. YouTube.com/Gross Anatomy. You put in @Gross Anatomy, it should be the only one that pops up. Instagram @Gross Anatomy Studios. It's where I'm least active on. But LinkedIn is where you can kind of see everything I'm doing on a daily basis or weekly basis. YouTube is all my finished content. And my website has just samples of what I do. And just kind of gives you an image of who I am. Even my personality kind of seeps through the website. Yeah. Anything else? Where
No,
else
I
can
mean,
people
awesome.
find me?
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
think that's mostly it.
if you guys have any aspirations to break into entertainment or have any questions for Adrian, make sure to reach out to him on social media.
Yeah.
If you liked this episode or hated this episode, make sure to rate us 5 stars wherever and subscribe to Untold Physio Stories wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, you guys have a great day.